Part 51. 80s, The Farmer's Wife is the Boss. Author, Village Girl in City. Chapter 502. Chapter 502, Little Golden Man. Mom, you promised to grow up with us, don't you want us anymore? Zioxu, if you don't like the baby, we won't give birth to it. Now I have good news for you. I have had a sterilization. Zioxu, this meat is expensive, let's buy less. Can grandma make braised pork for you during the Chinese New Year? Scenes followed the sound in my mind. Mei Shui tried her best to open her eyes, but it was as if someone was holding her eyelids down. No matter what, she couldn't open them. No, it's not over, I'm not dead, this is not me, Mei Shui shouted in her heart. Tell yourself over and over again that she is not dead, and there is still someone waiting for her. I don't know if it was because of her obsession, but Mei Shui's eyes finally opened. But as soon as she opened it, she saw that she was standing not far from the tea tree, her body covered in golden light. The golden light is not dazzling, but very comfortable. Soon, she felt the changes in herself and immediately sat down cross-legged. Hian's side is much simpler. Maybe he had so many things on his mind, but he had only loved one woman, Mei Shui, from the beginning to the end. Looking at the picture in his mind, he directly denied it. This is not me. I can't marry a woman other than Zioxu. It's you. You are Shashu. It's you who is responsible for this, right? Hian's Qingming festival was something no one expected. A little golden man appeared in front of Hian's after he denied the picture. After circling around him, the little golden man nodded. Not bad, good foundation, good character, just a little silly, okay, it's you. After saying that, the little golden man went directly to the center of Hian's eyebrows. Hian's felt as if his whole body had been recast, and the pain was so painful that he wanted to kill himself. Don't think too much, keep calm, now is the real test. The voice of the little golden man sounded from Hian's mind. Return to the origin and unite, be calm and calm, follow the path I show you, the little golden man told Hian sentence by sentence. Hian's currently lacks the most training method, and he was still thinking about when to find Ziobai. Now it's fine, he doesn't have to look for it anymore. As soon as the technique came out, Hian's knew that this technique was most suitable for him. The little golden man saw that it was starting to work, and he nodded in Hian's sea of consciousness with great satisfaction. This guy has some knowledge. It was already dark when Mei Shui woke up, and all the golden light had disappeared. Seeing that Hian still had his eyes closed, she did not dare to touch him. She figured it out. She had made a breakthrough again. If Ziobai knew about it, I wonder if it would be frightened to death. For such a great opportunity, I really have to thank Father Ji. Looking at Ji's father who fell to the ground, Mei Shui carried him down the mountain without saying a word. She did not send Ji's father home, but went to the village chief. When we arrived at the village chief's house, Xiao Peng, Xiao Cheng, and Grandma were all here, as were the village chief and the 3 elders of the Chong family. As if waiting for her. Seeing her coming, the village chief immediately stepped forward and took Ji's father from her hand. He checked his pulse and nodded to Kongqin, bring the person into the house first. Second brother, go talk to Ji Huo and don't let her worry. After hearing what the village chief said, Chang Shui immediately left the village. Mei Shui walked to her grandma and sat down, poured a glass of water and drank it. The village chief is waiting for me on purpose, Mei Shui said directly when she saw that there were no outsiders. The village chief nodded and smiled, no, Xiaopeng and your grandma will be very worried if you don't come back so late. After seeing him change the subject, Mei Shui said no more, thinking that he knew what happened on the mountain. Grandma, I went to the back mountain with Ans. I originally wanted to find some game and came back, but unexpectedly I came across something good, so I came back late. When we arrived, Ans was still guarding the back mountain. I have to go there later. Looking for him, don't worry, we are fine. Grandma can know a lot of things without her having to say much, but she just doesn't know that they have all become immortals. Well, the mountain is very exposed, so you should bring more clothes with you. Grandma. He knew that Xiaoxiu didn't tell the whole story. She was in someone else's house, so she didn't ask much. Xiao Cheng and Xiao Peng were very interested. Mom, can we go with you? They had a crazy day today, and this village is really a treasure. Xiao Cheng realized that everyone in this village was very good at fighting, and some had better moves than him. This day, under the leadership of Xiao Yu, he met a lot of new friends. You haven't had enough fun after playing all day. After dinner, go to bed early. You're welcome. Mei Shui slapped Xiao Cheng on the head in annoyance. This silly son is really silly. Xiao Peng was much quieter, but his eyes also betrayed his thoughts. I guess he was also curious. It's getting late, and the villagers have already brought food to them. If the village chief is alone on weekdays, he can just eat whatever he wants. But now that there are guests, the villagers certainly cannot wait any longer. Eating and drinking are directly provided by the villagers. The Chinese New Year will be here in a few days, and every household has good food. After dinner, Grandma took Xiao Peng and the others to wash up. Only then did the village chief find the opportunity to have a good chat with Mei Shui. However, Mei Shui was worried about He-Ans on the mountain, so she didn't say much. She just said, "We'll talk about it when we get back." Then he left the village chief's house. He-Ans sat here for 2 days. Fortunately, Mei Shui found an excuse and said that she was going hunting in the mountains and would celebrate the new year with everyone in the village. The village chief was also covering up, and everyone was convinced. After He-Ans woke up, the tea tree was obviously withered. In less than a minute, the tea tree turned into ashes and disappeared from the world. This made both Mei Shui and He-Ans a little embarrassed. At this time, the little golden man in He-Ans' mind spoke, "My true body has entered your divine sea, and of course the binding thing has disappeared. If you still don't want to let go, let your wife use the spiritual spring to plant another one, that is." He-Ans was stunned. "Can you know my memory?" He was very reluctant to do this. "Of course, you are my master now. We are of the same mind. Of course we know your memories. Besides, what else do you have in your mind besides your wife?" The little golden man rolled his eyes angrily. No wonder, given the circumstances, he denied it at the beginning. Mei Shui didn't know about the conversation between He-Ans and the little golden man, but she could tell something was wrong with He-Ans. He-Ans did not hide anything and directly told Mei Shui about the golden statue. It turns out that it is an ancient Bodhi tea tree, but it failed to protect itself well in ancient times, so it got injured here. Then it has been growing in the world, and it can't raise it even if it wants to. It has become what it is now. Had it not been for encountering them, it would have disappeared soon, and by then there would be no Bodhi tea tree in the world. After listening to what He-Ans said, Mei Shui smiled. "It's another poor ancient artifact. I don't know what happened in the first place, since so many ancient artifacts have disappeared." End of this chapter. 80s, The Farmer's Wife is the Boss. Author, Village Girl in City. Chapter 503. Chapter 503, Talented People. Mei Shui knew from Xiaobai that some big changes must have happened in ancient times. "It doesn't know this either," He-Ans asked the little golden man, but he didn't know either. Just like Xiaobai, it only knows that the world has changed, but it doesn't know the specific changes. "Forget it, it's not important. Let's go. Let's plant a tea tree there first. We can't make the villagers unable to drink tea. The one grown by her spiritual spring water is not as good as the one harvested by Ans. But it's not bad either. At worst, she could just bury a spiritual crystal. Maybe there will be another Bodhi tea tree." After Mei Shui's idea was known to the little golden man, he rolled his eyes in her direction. Stop dreaming, your wife is really whimsical. If you give me another one, why doesn't she plant all these mountains with Bodhi tea trees? Hyans didn't take it to heart at all after hearing the little golden man's complaints. As long as she was willing, what if she could plant the entire mountain? Come on, this is it. Mei Shui looked around and found a small tea tree that was growing vigorously. Yes, this spirit is closest to the main body. I think it has absorbed a lot of the essence of the Bodhi tea tree, so it is worth cultivating. Hian stepped forward and took a look. It was indeed very good. The tea tree disappeared and a big hole appeared. Mei Shui pulled up the tea tree without saying a word. Of course, she wrapped it directly with spiritual power, otherwise it would not be possible to pull it out like this. First he buried some soil inside, and then threw a spiritual crystal into it. Ans, do you think this is enough? Mei Shui was afraid that she wouldn't be able to give birth to much at once. When the villagers discover something is wrong, there will be trouble. Then add one more, Hian said without thinking. The main reason is that there is too much space in this thing. I didn't use it before, it has always been there, and I don't know how many there are now. The Bodhi tea tree saw them using high-quality spiritual crystals as fertilizer, and opened its mouth, but in the end said nothing. The ones who benefited were its descendants, and any more would be fine. At that time, one pill was enough. Mei Shui thought for a while, that's right, let's put one more in. After saying that, she took one out of the space. Put down the tea tree and throw it to its roots. Okay, let's bury it in the soil. Of course, let the men do the hard work. The two of them are almost building a foundation now. Yes, they were disturbed by Bodhi tea tree and directly reached the 10th level of the training stage. If they consolidate a little more, they might be able to build a foundation directly. It's just that the two of them didn't know much about it, so they didn't take it to heart. As soon as the magic was activated, the place returned to its original state within a short time, except that the tea tree was a little smaller. Meixiu really didn't like it, so she poured some spiritual spring water on it. At this time, the tea tree began its transformation visible to the naked eye. In less than 10 minutes, the tea tree turned into the same tea tree as before. Of course, there are more tea leaves on it than before, and now is the time to pick them. Of course, Mei Shui was not polite and picked it directly. All stored in space. Let's go, Grandma must be impatient. Mei Shui walked to Hians and said to him. Good. Outsiders may not be able to see the changes between the two of them, but as someone close to them, Grandma, he noticed their differences at the first sight. He frowned and opened his mouth, but he didn't know what to say. Grandma, don't worry, we are fine. If it were not for destiny, Mei Shui would really like to take her grandma to cultivate immortality with her, but it's a pity that her grandma has no spiritual roots. Xiaopeng and the others have it, but Xiao doesn't, so Mei Shui doesn't plan to hand it over to Xiaopeng and the others at this time. Brothers should not be treated differently. Besides, what's the point of preventing it from happening a few decades later? As soon as they returned to the village, the villagers were happy because they brought back 2 big wild boars and a deer. There is enough meat for the whole village to eat. Hyans were not stingy people, so they directly asked Ji's father to take charge and use the meat to invite the villagers to have a meal together. The village is now more lively. The village chief finally found a chance to get along with the two of them alone. Village chief, I know what you want to ask. The first one to speak was Hyans, who knew some things about the village from Xiaojin man's mouth. The people in this village are all of good character. They are still a branch of the ancient Miao ethnic group, but the inheritance is seriously broken. It just so happens that Mei Shui has the exercises given by Xiao Bai. Although there are no Miao exercises, there are some exercises suitable for them. It is not said that everyone can cultivate immortality, but at least everyone can have the ability to protect themselves. As soon as Hyans opened his mouth, Mei Shui knew what he meant. Without saying a word, she took out 5 or 6 books from a bag next to her. Village chief, these are our little thoughts, please accept them. After all, he was given the opportunity of this village. He is not a heartless person, and he will help those who can. Mixu also took out a bottle of spiritual spring water, which was undiluted. Village chief, drink this. It will help you break through. There was only so much they could do. The village chief didn't take it directly, but he couldn't bear to say, "Can't you help other people in our village?" Hearing this, Hians and Mei Shui felt even more satisfied with the village chief. "It's not that we don't help, it's that we can't help," Hians said. "Externally, he is in charge, so of course he will come forward if anything happens. This is how they get along without wives." What can I say? What he was thinking about were the younger generations. If you can practice to the Qi training stage, then you also know the difference between internal strength and Qi training stage. Then do you know? "Why can you do it while others can?" Hians asked. Why, the village chief really didn't know. The older generation was gone and many of his problems could not be answered. Besides, even if the older generation is here, they might not know. Otherwise it would be in the inheritance. Because none of them have spiritual roots. Hians turned his hand, and a thunder and lightning appeared in his hand. Looking at him like this, the village chief didn't understand anything. He moved his hand, and a piece of wood appeared in his hand. "I think the village chief has a wood attribute. And Hians has a thunder attribute. So that's it, I thought." The village chief sighed. When he was a child, he was warned by his elders because of this. Now it seems. "Village chief, I think you know the situation in your village better than I do, not to mention the older generation in the village. How many of the younger generation have spiritual roots?" Hian's words are very direct. Yes. The village chief reflected. But soon, he smiled sincerely and said, "Yes, I have several great-grandchildren. I don't know. I don't have any grandchildren, but I still have some great-grandchildren." Hearing this, Mei Shui and Hians were also shocked. "How many?" Mei Shui asked nervously. "3." The village chief didn't hide anything, and told them directly who it was. "One is Xiaoyu, and there is Xiaoyu Azamua, who is Xiaoyu's brother, but I told him that he does not need to use his skills." End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. 80s, The Farmer's Wife is the Boss. Author, Village Girl in City. Chapter 504. Chapter 504, Engagement. There is also a grandson who has a lot of money. The village chief told them the information about the 3 people. The 2 of them looked at each other and were happy. "I wonder if Xiaoyu can marry me." Their original intention of coming was for Xiaoyu, but they just said they wanted to marry her and they were just trying to trick grandma into leaving the capital. Unexpectedly. Nothing. The village chief understood what they meant and immediately laughed. "Xiaoyu is a good child. Let me tell you, that girl is amazing. Whether she is studying medicine or growing medicinal materials, she is very good at it. She is different from me. She has the attribute of wood and fire." The village chief was very understanding after Hians explained the common sense of the world of cultivation. The wood and fire attributes are good at practicing alchemy, but Mei Shui is not as good at this because of the ice attribute. Xiaoyu didn't know that she was being remembered. At this time, she was dragging Xiaopeng to run around the village. "Then I wonder if we can get married?" Mei Shui asked tentatively. The village chief was happy. "No problem, I have the final say on this matter." The village chief was very happy. The excited village chief immediately ran down the mountain, found the Ji family and his wife, and asked them to follow him up the mountain. Ji's father and Ji's mother were confused. However, the village chief usually didn't come down the mountain. Now he came to see them. He thought it was urgent, so he followed him up the mountain without asking any questions. It seems that the village chief is also impatient. As soon as the two families met, he Ans and Mei Shui stood up and directly invited people to sit down. It doesn't matter if there is a generation difference, we will just call them by their own family names from now on. Li's father was not much older than he Ans. As for why he called Ji's father uncle, in fact, they didn't know. The main reason was that Ji's father looked too old. They called them like this, but no one said anything. Now that they talked about the engagement, he Ans and Mei Shui suddenly became embarrassed. But the village chief didn't know about their embarrassment, otherwise he would have laughed 3 times. After sitting down, the village chief spoke first, while Mei Shui and the others answered the conversation with Grandma He. In any case, they have not fulfilled their parental responsibilities at all. That's what happened. What do you two think? After the village chief told the story, he looked at Ji's husband and the two of them. Grandma He smiled so happily. Let me tell you, Xiaoyu is a very good child. It's a good thing to make a decision early. Besides, she plays so well with my Xiaopeng. The old lady loved this thing. Seeing that they were a little confused, she immediately said. Ji's mother reacted at this time and smiled sincerely. The old lady is right. I think Xiaopeng's child is very good. There are many people in the village who got engaged early. Now it's her Xiaoyu's turn, and she has no regrets about letting go. It's just that Xiaopeng and the others live in the city, and they don't want to move, so they can't help but feel a little worried. I just don't know what your plans are for them after they get engaged. If the two of them don't grow up together, she, the mother-in-law, is still a little worried. Meixiu spoke up at this time. Sister-in-law, I know what you are worried about. How about this? When they get engaged, how about you go to Kyoto to live together? Xiaoxiu also agreed with sister-in-law Ji's words. Ji's father was very reluctant to give up and kept pulling on his wife's clothes. He didn't want to marry Xiaoyu off early. Ji's mother kept hitting Ji's father's hand to keep him out of trouble. How great it is to be married to a family member like Boss He, who is easy to get along with at first glance. We have to think about this. She still felt a little unsure about leaving the village. Because she knew her man too well, he had the kind of good-for-nothing temperament, and she was afraid that he would be the most reluctant to leave the village. Whatever you think about this matter, just let them help you arrange it. The village chief did not regard He Ans's family as outsiders at all. Seeing the village chief speak, Ji's father stood up and said, Village chief, how can this be possible? Xiaoyu will be shameless in the future by relying on her husband's family. He would not agree to this matter no matter what. Then what do you think we should do? The village chief smiled angrily. What a great opportunity to allow them to practice together with their 3 children. This opportunity is something that no one else can ask for. It's just that people didn't want to force this matter on them, so they didn't say anything. It just won't work anyway. Ji's father is a clumsy talker, but he is not stupid. Ji's mother pulled him and asked him to sit down. She said sorry to the village chief with a smile on her face. Then she looked angry at Ji's father and said, What are you calling? We're just going to Kyoto. Why can't our family afford to go? She knew her family's background. From what I have learned, I learned that just one medicinal plant is enough for my family to settle down in Kyoto. Are they afraid that they will not be able to raise their children? Also, Xiaoyu should also accept the outside world. What if Xiaopeng dislikes her when they grow up? Ji's mother was very optimistic about Xiaopeng, so she made plans for her daughter early. She has never thought about marrying someone from the village, but she always feels that no one is worthy of her Xiaoyu. He Ans's family is silent, and the Ji family has to make their own decision on this matter. Ji's father sighed, It's easy for you to think. How will we live in Kyoto? We can't just rest on our laurels. There are things at home, but they are treasures left over from previous lives, and he doesn't want to waste them like this. Go. You are stupid, you have forgotten what boss he and the others said last time. What is Zimu doing in Kyoto now? When it comes to planting, their family's craftsmanship is well known in the village. At this point, are you still worried about not having enough to eat? Jimu is a transparent. Yuji's father did not expect his wife to agree so much. You should at least ask Xiaoyu about this. Xiaoyu is not young anymore. He was afraid of his wife and said he couldn't win against her. Don't worry about this, I will definitely tell Xiaoyu. Seeing Ji's father surrender, Ji's mother immediately beamed with joy. Grandma, he was also happy. That's right, my in-laws, let me tell you, Xiaopeng is a caring child, and he takes good care of me, an old woman, at home. The old lady praised people without repetition at all. She almost praised Xiaopeng to the sky. If one praise was not enough, she praised Xiaoyu as much as Chang'e. It really makes me cry when I listen to it, and I am moved when I smell it. Mixu was embarrassed. Listening to her grandma's words, she really doubted whether she was talking about her son. However, she didn't know much about Xiaoyu's child, so she didn't know much about it, but from her interactions with Li's family, she still thought highly of the child. This matter was accomplished under the witness of the village chief, but the engagement is not so careless. There is still a set of procedures to go through. Especially for the Miao ethnic group, the procedure should not be too cumbersome. Fortunately, they are all children, so they don't have to drink. But since Ans, the father-in-law, is here, that is indispensable. Coupled with the Chinese New Year, it's just a good time for everyone to have some fun together. Mei Shui and Hians also flew down the mountain the next day, the 28th of the new year. Fortunately, their current cultivation allowed them to fly like this. End of this chapter. 80s, The Farmer's Wife is the Boss. Author, Village Girl in City. Chapter 505. Chapter 505, Silver Jewelry. With the village chief as a cover, he is not afraid to use his own magic when he leaves the village. One round trip and one day is enough. Mei Shui had a severe headache on the streets of Guizhou province. Why do they like silver? Gold is so good. Mei Shui prepared dowries for her 3 children, but she didn't expect that Xiaopeng wouldn't need them here. Stop complaining, let's go. Let's ask Uncle Huang if he knows any skilled craftsmen. We can't let Xiaoyu suffer. Hians comforted her. That's right, I just didn't expect the people in the village to be so stingy. Mei Shui was also speechless. After hearing about the Miao family's betrothal supplies, the first thing they thought of was to buy them from the villagers. Unfortunately, no family was willing to sell them. It is said that these things are prepared for their children since childhood and cannot be touched. The village chief had no choice but to ask them to go down the mountain to look for him. Fortunately, there are many skilled craftsmen in your province, and you can still find them if you look for them. That's all I have to do. So the two went to the wine shop, found Uncle Huang, and told him about Xiaopeng's engagement. It almost scared Uncle Huang to death. You guys are too much nonsense. How old is Xiaopeng? Uncle Huang felt that he had really seen the world. No baby has such a scary one. What nonsense. Of course you have to take action first when you see something good. Mei Shui looked unhappy. Well, actually she also wants to shirk the blame, but she can't let others poke her heart. What else can Uncle Huang say? I know 2 people who do this kind of craftsmanship, but I don't know if they have any inventory at home. As you know, those things are prepared when you are young, but you can't just sell them when you want them. Uncle Huang looked worried. Could it be? It's okay. If not, then I can only give money and let Xiaopeng prepare it by himself. Mei Shui did not want to wrong Xiaoyu like this unless she had to. Okay, you guys sit down for a while, and I'll go talk to the people below. Uncle Huang is still very busy here. Half an hour later, Uncle Huang came over with a change of clothes and left the hotel with the 2 of them. Sitting in Uncle Huang's car, Hians asked about Uncle Huang's affairs in your province. Uncle Huang was complaining. He wanted to go back quickly. He didn't have any family members here and he felt lonely. They also asked them to help put in a good word to Qianziang and transfer him back as soon as possible. Hians nodded, "No problem, once the matter is done this time, I will definitely ask Qianziang to transfer you back." Uncle Huang was angry, "If not, would you blame me? What kind of person is this? There is no other way. Who asked you to give us hope?" Mei Shui said even more shamelessly. "There is really nothing we can do against them." Driving for almost an hour, we arrived at a small village on the outskirts of the province. As soon as we arrived at the village gate, we heard a banging and clanking sound. This village is full of old craftsmen. They all make a living by making silver, but there are only a few who are good at it. "Let's go, I will take you to find Lao Feng." Uncle Huang turned off the fire and said to the two of them. Getting out of the car, the voice became clearer. "Don't tell me, it has a special charm in it." "The sound is really nice," Mei Shui said with a smile. "You just heard this. It would be strange if you hear it every day without making noise. Haven't you seen that there are very few households in this village? It's just too noisy that everyone moved out of the village. It is impossible for everyone in a village to do this. The ones left behind are those families with inheritance. Let's go." Well, they were lucky, the person they were looking for happened to be at home. But I was a little drunk. "Xiao Huang, why are you here? This old man loves to eat." After the hotel opened here, some old gourmets came here. Manager Huang also met the old man at that time. He forgot one thing when he came today, and that was that he didn't bring any gifts. Misstep. "Have you two brought any wine?" Seeing that the old man was a little confused, Uncle Huang pulled Hians aside and asked. Old man Feng's biggest hobby is wine, and eating comes second. Because he is the only one in his family, he is very willing to do so. From time to time he will go to the Intercontinental Hotel to have a meat restaurant to reward himself. "What are you doing with the wine?" Hians was a little confused. "Didn't you smell something when you came in? Let me tell you, if you bring wine, half of the problem will be solved." Uncle Huang did not lie to him. Hians glanced at Mei Shui and nodded, "Bring it with you. This wine is the medicinal wine I drank myself. Is it okay? Don't have too much wine in the space." But he didn't say panic, he really drank the wine himself. The medicine inside is hundreds of times stronger than what and when and the others sell. "It'll be done if you have it. Go get it and give it to me later. I will definitely help you get the silver jewelry for the engagement," Uncle Huang promised, patting his chest. "Sure, I'll get it right away." Hians nodded and immediately walked out. Mei Shui was a little unclear, but soon the news about Hians arrived. After hearing it, Mei Shui couldn't laugh or cry. "I've mixed some water, what else can be done?" As soon as he realized something, he quickly took out 2 bottles of wine mixed with water from the space. Hians came to the car and saw 2 bottles of wine on the back seat. He smiled and said, "You're so fast. Open the car door, grab it and run to the village." Old man Feng was drunk and fell asleep again after saying a few words. Uncle Huang is just like his own home here, very casual. Meixiu was not as casual as him. She walked around the yard and saw a lot of silver mines on the ground. "Step forward and take a piece." Just when he was about to verify it, Uncle Wang's voice came from above Mei Shui's head. "Don't look at it. These are all silver, not the kind of silver we are talking about. The unprocessed ones have no value, you know." He made a big mistake on the spot. Thinking about the first time he saw the money in this place, he felt like he was going crazy. If old man Feng hadn't pulled him and told him the difference between Miaoyan and silver, he would have wanted to rob the old man. "I'll just take a look." It's not like Mei Shui has never seen silver before, so she can certainly see the difference between the two. "Sure, let's see." It didn't take long for Hians to run over. As soon as he entered the yard, he handed the wine to Uncle Huang. "It's just these 2 small bottles. There are not many more. If it is done, I will go back and get more and send them to you. Hyans is very confident in the products he produces. That's a great feeling. I want a big bottle. Huang Shu was happy. Okay, it's up to you. You can have as much or as little as you want. Let's get things done now. We'll have to return to the village later, Hyan said anxiously. Don't worry, it'll only take a minute or two. If old man Feng had them here, he wouldn't have to run away with them. Uncle Huang first opened the wine bottle and took a whiff himself. The aroma of the wine was so mellow that he couldn't stop thinking, this wine is good. He was greedy. But before he could bring it to his mouth, the wine in his hand was snatched away. Even though Uncle Huang was prepared, he was still shocked. End of this chapter. 80s, The Farmer's Wife is the Boss. Author, Village Girl in City. Chapter 506. Chapter 506, Uncle Huang who plays a lot. After seeing the person who robbed him of his wine, he was speechless and said, Old man Feng, can you not be a robber? This man really has no character at all. Smells good, good wine, good wine. After saying this, the man who was still asleep just now opened his mouth and took a big sip of wine. Haha, this wine is strong enough. By the way, where did you get this wine? Old man Feng seemed to be energetic and looked at Uncle Huang with his eyes shining. You old man, give me back the wine. Uncle Huang quit. This wine is for asking people to do things, so don't drink it all. Seeing his posture, Hyans and Mei Shui each took a few steps back and watched Uncle Huang perform. I didn't expect that Uncle Huang still had this side. No wonder Grandma said he was very weird. Now it seems that Grandma didn't say anything at all. It takes only a matter of minutes to set someone up. Why do you need such good wine? Old man Feng immediately hid the 2 bottles of wine behind him. You can't do this. You definitely don't have it. I came here just to ask if you know anyone. Uncle Wang's appetite was really whetted. Old man Feng quit. Then what are you saying? You're here just for the silver jewelry. There's nothing I can't do. Old man Feng is also serious. They are here to ask for a set of silver engagement jewelry. How can you have this? Uncle Huang looked in disbelief. Hey, you're looking down on me. Why didn't I? Old man Feng secretly turned his back and took another sip of wine. Let me tell you, not to mention the ones for the engagement, I have all the ones for the wedding, complete sets, no less than one piece, 128 pieces. Old man Feng said with a proud look on his face. Even if you have it, you won't sell it. Return the wine to me quickly. I'll take it to beg others. Uncle Huang only had wine in his eyes and didn't believe what old man Feng said at all. You kid, your skin is itchy, aren't you? I told you I have it. Why do you still ask me for a drink? You really don't know how to look at people's faces at all. I don't know if your boss is stupid for inviting you such a guy. Seeing that they were about to fight, Hyans hurriedly stepped forward. Don't argue, please. Since this uncle said yes, I wonder if you can sell it to us. Hyans pulled Uncle Huang and immediately asked Old Man Feng. Old Man Feng glanced at his sons and then at Mei Shui behind him. Is it for your engagement? His eyes were still on Mei Shui a few more times. This girl doesn't look like us Miao people. Uncle Huang said unhappily, don't make blind guesses. They are engaged. It's their children. Even though they are young, their children are about to get married. Speaking of this matter, Uncle Huang felt unbalanced. He is not much older than them, so why does he look so much older? He is only 50 this year. At this time, the old man Feng was not calm. You are going to order a baby to marry your child? You are really quick to do it. It is very common for Miao people to order a baby to be married. Why are you such a mouthy person? Their eldest son is already in college, and they are still kissing each other as a baby. Please give me the drink quickly. Singing and harmonizing, the cooperation between Hyans and Huang Shu is called a success. Shut up, kid. Old man Feng was unhappy, but he was sure that he was overthinking. Boy, tell me, what do you want? As long as I have it, I will sell it to you. He also snorted to Uncle Huang. We want silver jewelry for the engagement when we were 12 or 13 years old, and silver jewelry for their wedding. I wonder if you have any, Hian said very politely. We have this thing, and it comes in a set, but how much do you plan to pay? His eyes were rolling rapidly, and he had a lot of ideas coming up. We don't know anything about this either. Why don't you give us a price, sir? They are not afraid if they can buy it with money. It's just that old man Feng is not the kind of person who is easily deceived. He looked at Manager Huang. Tell me, what is the price of this wine in your store? Hearing this, is he planning to drink instead? Talents. What's the price? We can't afford this wine in the store. This is a gift that he brought as a greeting to ask someone to do something for him. Manager Huang is a smart man and immediately knew what the old man was thinking. If you want to drink, it's done, just sell it to them and ask them to exchange it for wine. As soon as these words came out, my old man was happy. I think so. His eyes lit up and he looked at Hians and the others. I have the stuff, but I don't want the money. How about this? Can you exchange it for 100 bottles of this wine? This bottle is about 2 kilograms, and 100 bottles would be 200 kilograms. It's not a loss at all. Just when Hians was about to agree, Uncle Huang jumped up. You think this wine is Chinese cabbage? Do you know that the health wine you drank in our store is not as good as this wine, and you still have 100 bottles? It's better not to sell it. This is what Uncle Huang thinks in his heart. In his mind, this wine must be very expensive because Hians drank it himself. Who doesn't know that the He family's food and drink are all things that others cannot afford? If it weren't for the blessing of his employer, he really wouldn't be able to see such a good thing. Hians and Mei Shui were speechless. They wanted to tell Uncle Huang that 2/3 of the wine was water. Don't say 100 bottles, 1,000 bottles will do. However, they accepted Uncle Huang's wishes. Uncle Huang, it's okay. I think that silver jewelry is also the old man's treasure. We can't let the old man suffer, right? 100 bottles is 100 bottles, but we don't have it now. Now we can't change it to 100 bottles. Old man Hians walked up to Old man Feng. If you can trust us, how about you go directly to the Intercontinental Hotel to get this wine? He planned to deliver it to Uncle Huang in 2 days. Here are the things. We need them urgently. We want to take them away today. Do you think that's okay? This is indeed a bit embarrassing. Plus they are not familiar with each other. And the relationship between Uncle Huang and the family is not that close. Hians and Mei Shui thought a lot. What a pity. Okay, you can take the things with you, but you have to add 10 bottles of wine. I can ask you to deliver them to me in 3 days. Well, this old man really knows how to do business. Hians felt a little embarrassed when he heard this. He looked at Uncle Huang. It's a pity that Uncle Huang is obviously not on their side this time. Okay, there are so many scenes with Uncle Huang. Mr. Feng immediately laughed when he saw Manager Huang doing this. I can't help it. This is just a hobby for the old man. If you don't agree. Okay, we agree. Mei Shui stood up and said the first words between her and the old man. 10 bottles are enough, but after that the wine will be gone. The medicinal materials here are all good, and she is afraid that the old man will become addicted to them. It would be bad to trouble Manager Huang again then. Why, at worst, I have to spend money to buy it. Sure enough, smart people are everywhere. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. 80s, The Farmer's Wife is the Boss. Author, Village Girl in City. Chapter 507. Chapter 507, Do you want my cheating brother? Mei Shui did not hide anything from him. As you have always known, a lot of medicinal materials are used here, but now the medicine is hard to find, and it is even more difficult to brew it again. This time it is not for the child's marriage, I won't promise you. We drink this wine at home and never sell it. If you don't believe me, you can ask manager Huang. Mei Shui's words put an end to the old man's thoughts. Uncle Huang nodded in response. What else can the old man say? Good, the wine in their shop is not bad and is drinkable. The matter was settled in this way, and the old man now felt free to put down the wine. Old man Feng is also a really happy person. After putting down his drink, he went directly into the house. When I came out, I was holding a big box in my hands. It is almost 1 meter wide and about 1.5 meters high. Imagine how many things are packed inside. Come here, check out the goods. Don't say that the old man deceived you. Old man Feng was very confident in his craftsmanship. But now, after hearing his words, they realized that they had never mentioned that they wanted to see the goods. Mei Shui and Hians were both dumbfounded. It happened that the old man brought it up, so let's take a look. When the old man opened the box, Mei Shui couldn't take her eyes away. This is so beautiful. Mei Shui was shocked. Not only her, but also Hians and Uncle Huang were dumbfounded. Everything inside is of high quality, and every item is carefully crafted. You can tell at a glance that a lot of thought has been put into it. It can be seen that old man Feng took out the things and exchanged them for wine. How much he loves wine. When they saw the goods, Mei Shui and Hians felt a little embarrassed. They looked at each other and saw the embarrassment in each other's eyes. The message said, "How about giving him a bottle of pure medicinal wine?" Hians asked tentatively. Meixia shook her head after hearing this. It wasn't that she didn't give it, but that old man Feng couldn't bear the power of the medicinal wine. Forget it, just take the amount he asked for. After drinking it, I think he won't be able to repair the hidden wounds that he suffered when he was young. Mei Shui shook her head and said. After putting the things away, Mei Shui and Hian sincerely thanked the old man. Yu Fanfan. I can't give you any wine, but Uncle Huang is here enough to give me some instructions. After taking the things and leaving, Hians told Uncle Huang about the matter in the car. Uncle Huang, when old man Feng goes to the hotel to dine, all the expenses will be charged to my account. Judging from old man Feng's appearance, he is not the kind of person who tries to push his limits. Hearing what Hians said, Uncle Huang nodded with satisfaction. I was just about to tell you about this. Since you said so, I will listen to you. Originally, he was thinking that he would feel a little guilty about taking such a good thing without spending any money. Wine is a good thing, but the box of silver jewelry doesn't look cheap. Because things went smoothly, Hian said goodbye to Uncle Huang after returning to your province. They had to rush back to celebrate the new year. Tomorrow will be 29, and the day after tomorrow will be 30. This year I have to celebrate the new year at Ji's house, so I can't go back too late. After seeing the two of them off, Uncle Huang worked overtime at the hotel. Hians and Mei Shui flew to the next province, where they sent wine to Uncle Huang in their own names. Because Hians ordered that the wine party be sent out in the first month. It was already midnight when we rushed back to the village. The two of them spent the night at the village chief's house without waking anyone else, and handed the things to Grandma the next day. She was very comfortable with this kind of thing. Looking at the things in the box, the old lady was very excited. This thing is really exquisite. It must have cost a lot of money, but no one can marry a wife without spending money. This money is well spent. Of course, the old lady had prepared things for her great-grandson's wife, but after seeing these things, she felt that her own things were really hard to get rid of. Pulling Mei Shui over, the old lady felt a little embarrassed and said, "Xiaoxiu, do you think I'd like to give Grandma this thing as a gift?" She was really afraid that the little girl wouldn't like it. The old lady prepared a bracelet that she had worn herself, and it was given to her by Xiaoxiu. "Grandma, There's no need, we'll just buy it for her after we return to Kyoto. Mei Shui knew that the old lady loved her great-grandson, but she still felt a little unhappy after giving her things away. This is what I gave to you, Mei Shui said to her grandma with a coquettish look on her face. Hearing what she said, Grandma nodded her forehead angrily. You are still jealous of your own son, you can do it? But the things were still taken back. Think about it, Xiaoxia gave it to her, so it's okay not to give it as a gift. Okay, I'll listen to you. I won't give it away. I'll buy her a new one when I get back. This girl is still so jealous. The village chief sat there, looking at this orthodox meow decoration, feeling very happy. It doesn't matter what outsiders think, but the meow people certainly value these rules. You are all serious. It is not easy to find this whole set in one day. It costs a lot of money, right? The village chief put down the teacup in his hand and said happily. Heian smiled and said, it's okay, as long as we follow your rules correctly. He still understood that when you follow the locals, he still understands. Yes, yes, this is very good. Even people in my own village may not be able to produce such good things. Today is 29, and it's not time to give gifts yet. Heian and his family don't know much about these things, so they directly handed them over to two families who are close to the Ji family to act as matchmakers. The Ji family is also busy. Ji's mother and several friends helped her prepare all the things needed for the engagement. Xiaoyu was also locked up at home and was not allowed to go out. Not to mention Xiao Peng, who was taken by three elders of the Chong family and taught him the rules of the Miao people bit by bit. One of the most troublesome things is drinking, which would not be a problem in their village. But he is not from the village, so if he is allowed to drink from beginning to end, he may be hurt. You know, their wine is much stronger than those sold outside. Xiao Peng, can your dad drink? Since the son can't drink, he should act as a father. Before Xiao Peng could speak, Xiao Cheng couldn't help but said, my dad is not drunk, but my dad has a good drinking capacity. Xiao Peng was speechless. This younger brother of his was really a cheat. If his father found out, he would probably be beaten to death. My dad is a good drinker, but he's not the type who can't get drunk, Xiao Peng explained. But Xiao Cheng quit, and when he was about to refute, Xiao Peng counterattacked, shut up, kid. Watching the interaction between their brothers, Elder Zhong still didn't understand anything. Okay, don't act there, leave this matter to your father, just to test his depth, Elder Chong Shui said with a smile. They themselves will know what to try. Seeing this, Xiao Peng was speechless. I hope dad doesn't know all this. The more rules you have, the more you get, but after all, you are still a kid, so keep everything simple. The village chief spoke again, and no one looked down on the Ji family. On the contrary, everyone envied Xiaoyu for finding such a good person. I haven't asked for votes for a long time, and I see that everyone is voting less and less. Dear friends who are still reading, could you cast a vote? Monthly tickets and recommended tickets are both acceptable. Please give me a reward and subscribe, thank you all. End of this chapter. 80s, The Farmer's Wife is the Boss. Author, Village Girl in City. Chapter 508. Chapter 508, Drinking Wine. It's New Year's Eve, because this year the whole village gets together for the new year, and it happens to be the engagement of Xiaoyu and Xiao Peng, so it's a lot of fun for everyone. Early in the morning, Xiao Peng was picked up by Elder Zhong and the others and went directly to try on his new clothes. This dress was made by all the women in the village overnight. Mei Shui and Heian are very grateful for this. I plan to thank everyone in the future. After putting on the clothes, a well-dressed young man from the Miao family appeared in front of everyone. Oh my God, is this my great-grandson? Xiao Peng's facial features inherited all the advantages of his parents. He really followed the saying of the ancients, a stranger is like jade, and a young master is unparalleled in the world. Xiao Cheng looked at his second brother with a look of envy on his face. Second brother, your clothes are really nice. Haha, Xiao Cheng, how about you also find a wife in our village? After hearing what Xiao Cheng said, the people around him teased him. When Xiao Cheng heard this, he immediately shook his head. No, I have a wife. My wife said Xiao Fufu is my wife. Don't bully him into remembering things because he is young, he will always remember. And he has always treated Xiao Fufu as his wife and gives her sweet pills every day. Xiao Cheng's words made everyone laugh. You are good at it? It seems you are even better than your second brother. Of course, my second brother is a nerd. He just knows how to read every day. It's not fun at all. Xiao Cheng was really angry to death. Mixu on the side was speechless. Did she really give birth to her? She really wants to strangle him to death. How can she break it? Things are going very well. Soon it was time to set off for the woman's side. This time, Mei Shui and other elders cannot accompany her. He selected some young people from the village and headed towards Ji's house carrying their things one by one. It's so lively, Grandma, I want to go see it too. Seeing everyone shouting to leave, Mei Shui complained as she looked at the empty yard. Grandma, he patted Mei Shui on the head and said, don't cause any trouble, and don't break other people's rules. Just wait here and we'll see you in the evening. The old lady knew a lot about these rules from the village chief. But she found it too troublesome and couldn't figure it out, so she didn't get involved. On the Ji family side, when someone shouted, the woman immediately took action. Since Zimu didn't come back, all the people who came to the door were relatives of the Ji family. There were quite a few people there. Not only that, but some lively people also joined in. Basically, the entire village, except for those who followed Xiao Peng, came to Ji's house. So many people, Kong Jin was also a little overwhelmed. What are you doing eating? There are so many people, why can't they all drink and get out at once? Kong Jin glanced at the man standing next to him. He was quite tall, but after all, he was only 13 years old. Spent a lot of money to take a step forward. Are there too many of you? Because he was asking for marriage, he had to lower his attitude. Besides, happy events are not big or small. Except for the immediate elders and the village chief, everyone is now an equal, so it is not normal to drink alcohol. Grandpa Zhong, not many, some were taken away by Uncle Ji. Ji's father's nephew stood up and said. He is the main one today. They are of course not happy that Xiaoyu is the only girl in their family who is engaged. Well, Kong Jin knows about the Ji family, they are very high-ranking. Xiao Peng, can you have a little drink? There is no one to replace the wine when entering the house. During the banquet, you can let your husband's family do it, but this. Kong Jin was a little embarrassed. Xiao Cheng looked at the man who was about the same height as himself. He knew this man. He was Xiao Yu's brother. Brother Mufei, are you trying to stop my second brother? Xiao Cheng stood up and asked. Of course, you can bully your second brother yourself, but not others. He stood next to his second brother. The person who stood out over there was named Yu Mufei, who was also Xiaoyu's cousin. What, Xiao Cheng, are you going to drink for your brother? After saying that, Mufei said with a look of disdain, can you do it? An older man came out from the back and patted Mufei. Don't talk nonsense, today is a drinking party, how can I find someone to replace me? He smiled, but the teasing in his words should not be too obvious. Having said this, what else is there that you don't understand? Xiao Peng pulled Xiao Cheng down and said, don't get involved, I'm not afraid of them. He knew the people standing in front of him, they were all cousins of Xiao Yu's family. They want him to drink, but he is not afraid of trivial matters. Grandpa Zhong is fine, I can drink. Xiao Peng is the person involved, so of course he has to stand up at this time. Hearing this, everyone on the woman's side roared. Their roars were heard halfway up the mountain. Seeing them like this, what else can you say about the heavy money? Remember, keep your mouth small. There was only so much he could do to help. Smaller mouth means that when you open your mouth smaller when drinking, the wine will pour out along the edge of the bowl. This way you can drink less alcohol. This was all thought up by some bastards. Unexpectedly, he actually taught it to his son-in-law in the village himself. Xiaopeng didn't react for a while, but Xiao Chang, who had been in the army, understood. Grandpa Zhong really has you. Xiao Chang gave Kongjin a thumbs up. Seeing that the second brother didn't respond, Xiao Chang explained in Xiaopeng's ear. His voice was very low, only the two of them could hear it. Even Kongjin, who was very close, couldn't hear what the two of them said. This shocked Kongjin. Xiaopeng understood and smiled. The door-to-door drinking begins. Starting from Umufei, one by one, everyone in the area for half a mile paid their respects to the new son-in-law, and then Xiaopeng entered the Ji family's courtyard. As soon as he came in, a group of seniors sat at the square table at the entrance. Here you go, it seems you have two brushes. It was the boss of the Ji family who spoke. Ji's father is the youngest of the Ji family, and he has two older brothers. The parents are gone, and now there are only 3 brothers, so there are 4 people in their family. 1 person per side. Ji's father came over at this time. Xiaopeng, this is uncle, your name is uncle. He introduced Xiaopeng one by one. To introduce someone, you have to say a word. Not only that, you also have to drink a bowl of wine. Xiaopeng's face had already turned red, which was stimulated by the drink. When he was at home, he also secretly drank wine from his mother and wife, but it was different from this. Had it not been for his deep inner strength, he would have fallen on the road long ago. Even so, Xiaopeng is feeling a little dizzy now. The Miao people are proud of getting people drunk. Seeing that Xiaopeng is walking very steadily, the elders will certainly not be happy. Uncle Xiaopeng is very well behaved. He is like a baby when he is drunk. Hey, it's useless. No matter how nice you shout, you have to finish the wine. If you don't finish it, you won't give Uncle face. Yes, Uncle G is a this time. Aunt G was keeping her man's clothes on the side, but was thrown away by him. End of this chapter. 80s, the farmer's wife is the boss. Author, Village Girl in City. Chapter 509. Chapter 509, the first day of the first lunar month. Seeing this, Aunt G ignored him. She just didn't let Xiaopeng drink too much in a while. Just be considerate. She loves Xiao Yu, so this niece-in-law also loves her. Xiaopeng saw the bowl on the table and glanced at Father Ji. When Father Ji nodded, Xiaopeng picked it up directly. Thank you, uncle. Seeing that the wine was filled, Xiaopeng picked it up and drank without saying anything. Seeing his attitude, Elder Kongjin was unhappy and said, Boss of the Ji family, don't go too far. When parents leave people in their hands, they can't let others suffer the consequences. He, there are no big or small people today. Big uncle, you can't take any responsibility for this matter. Yes, it's not for nothing. Xiao Cheng felt anxious when he saw his brother was drunk, but no matter how anxious he was, he couldn't drink for him. The people here said that this is the wine for marrying a wife, and only the one you marry can drink it. Second brother, are you okay? Seeing the second brother pause, Xiao Cheng immediately stepped forward to support him and asked. Xiaopeng was drunk, glanced at his brother, and shook his head. It's okay. He was very dizzy, but he was very conscious. Second brother, how about I drink some for you? Xiao Cheng asked with concern. No, you stand behind me and help me get out of the alcohol. He couldn't bear it anymore. When Xiao Cheng heard what his second brother said, he immediately began to exercise his energy. He pretended to be supporting him, but in fact he was helping him to exercise his energy to get rid of the alcohol. As soon as the internal energy moved here, Kong Qin was immediately discovered. The person with deep inner strength was not much worse than him, which surprised him, but he also knew that now was not the time to talk about this. The village chief said that he would tell them something in a few days. Kongjin is a smart man, I'm afraid it has something to do with the He family. As soon as Xiao Cheng came out, Kongjin stepped forward to help without saying anything. Seeing this, Xiao Cheng said thank you for the large sum of money. Uncle has drank all the wine here, not a drop has been dropped. Uncle, you finished drinking after the alcohol in his body was somewhat dissipated. Xiaopeng's eyes became clear. Speech is also different from before. After Chang Shui and the others saw the boss's actions, they touched their noses and did not dare to remind him loudly. Uncle Ji is not the kind of person who has no sense of propriety. After seeing Xiaopeng finish drinking, he took out a piece of red cloth without saying a word. Here, Uncle's family's conditions are not as good as yours. Be careful and accept it. Their family mainly grows crops, so it's self-evident what this red cloth is. The people in the village are not surprised. They don't give money here. They give away things that they have kept at home. Thank you, Uncle. Xiaopeng had a pair of dog noses. As soon as the red cloth came out, he smelled it and knew what was inside. This thank you is very sincere. Aunt Ji made it simple here. She picked up the smallest bowl on the table, poured about 2/3 of it into it, and then stopped. Xiaopeng, this is the eldest Uncle Ji's father introduced. Xiaopeng walked to Aunt Ji, he called obediently. Good boy, come here, this is a gift from my aunt, please accept it. Giving gifts first and then drinking wine means that you are very satisfied. Her behavior made everyone burst into laughter. I haven't even drank the wine yet, so why are you giving me gifts? Aunt Ji, you are too easily satisfied. That's right, there is only one girl like this in your Ji family. Those who make noises do not think it is a big deal. Even though Aunt Ji looks like she is sitting there now, she is famous in the village for her explosive temper. Otherwise, how could she suppress Boss Ji? Why, my Xiaoyu's husband is so talented, why is he not satisfied? I think it's okay not to drink this wine, because our family is very happy. I think you are envious, but it's a pity that you can't be envious. It turns out that this uncle is on the same level as my wife, pretty good. Xiao Cheng and Xiaopeng liked this uncle very much. Thank you, Uncle. Xiaopeng answered quickly. After receiving the answer, he drank all the drinks on the table. I also like my uncle and his wife very much, he said sweetly. Well, they are really envious of such a good son-in-law. The hooting stopped and everyone started laughing. The people in the village are all very good-natured, and they don't have any great malice. They just talk a lot and make jokes, and then everything is fine. Ji's father introduced Xiaopeng to the second son of the Ji family. This is your second Uncle Ji. Uncle Ji. Xiaopeng called and drank all the wine poured by Uncle Ji on the table. After accepting the gift, start the next one. Aunt Ji is a gentle woman. She speaks very little and looks at Xiaopeng with a kind smile on her face the whole time. You are still young, drink less, Caring said. After receiving gifts from the four elders, Xiaopeng had to give gifts. These things were ready yesterday. Kongjin regained his inner strength and directly waved his hand to have the gift brought up. Gifts of various kinds filled the table. Here, this custom is called showing off gifts. Just like how the bride's family shows off their dowry now. The villagers looked at the things on the table, and all of them opened their mouths and lost their voices. Forget about those things you have never seen before, but those medicinal materials such as century-old ginseng and thousand-year-old Ganoderma lucidum are not something ordinary people can come up with. Even their village may not have so many good things. How old is their village? Haha, okay, from the Ji family, please accept it quickly and let's have a feast. Chang Shui walked out at this time. The engagement ceremony was completed on New Year's Eve. That night, Xiaopeng slept at the woman's house. At about 8 o'clock in the evening, heavy snow fell in the sky. Everyone was in the square in the center of the village, singing and dancing happily. Even Mei Shui and Hians drank a lot of wine. This new year has been extremely happy, and the only unhappiness is that Xiao is missing. However, there is no signal in the village, and they cannot contact Xiao. On the first day of the first lunar month, Mei Shui and Hians left the village early after breakfast. They wanted to call Xiao, wondering if he wanted to go home abroad. Originally, the old lady wanted to follow, but it was not possible to walk fast with the old lady, so she could only bring a message to Xiao. Xiao has also been waiting for a call from his parents. He knew about Xiao Peng's engagement, but he couldn't come back for a while, which made him feel very sorry. His brother was engaged and he was not here, which made him feel very sad. He also knew that his parents would not be able to get through on the phone these days, but he would still call his parents once an hour. Hua discovered something was wrong with him early on. After asking about it, she found out that he was homesick, and she didn't know how to comfort him. I can only go to the supermarket to buy a vegetable and come back, planning to make dumplings for him to eat, as a way to relieve my lovesickness. She has finally contacted her parents, who were extremely unhappy when they learned that she would not go home for the new year. She originally wanted to go back, but she came back after buying vegetables. Today is the first day of the first lunar month. Their custom is to eat dumplings, so she bought flour. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. 80s, The Farmer's Wife is the Boss. Author, Village Girl in City. Chapter 510. Chapter 510, Two People Getting Along. What are you doing in a daze? Come over here and help me carry my things. When she came back, she saw him dazed on the sofa, and Hua shouted to He Shiu. Hearing the sound, Xiao raised his head and looked at his mobile phone. There was no call on it. Why did you buy so many things? Xiao stood up like a handsome young man. Hua rolled her eyes at him and said, You forgot, today is also the first day of the Lunar New Year in the Dragon Kingdom. Don't we eat dumplings on the first day of the Lunar New Year? She seemed to have remembered correctly. Her family always eats dumplings on the first day of the Lunar New Year. Although the time here is different from that in China, this time is indeed the first day of the first lunar month in the Dragon Kingdom. Due to the time difference, it would probably be early at night in China at this time. Hua was afraid that he would think wildly, so she pulled him to make dumplings together. Well, she had eaten a lot of them since she was a child, but when it came to making them, she really didn't know how to do them. He Shiu, how about I leave this dough to you? Hua said at a loss. She really doesn't know how to adjust it? Besides, she heard her mother say that it requires someone with strength to do it. He Shiu glanced at her, thought of something, and smiled. Don't tell me you don't know how to do the things you bought. Well, seeing through it, he preferred to point it out, and he was happy when he saw her at a loss. The original feeling of longing for her family was defeated by her innocent look. Who said that? Of course I will buy it. Don't be too harsh, and secretly cursed He Shiu in your heart, you bastard, don't you know if you see through it but don't tell it off? You are not a gentleman at all. I don't know why she is so crazy that she would buy something to comfort him. If she had known he was like this, she might as well have gone home. Hum hum. Xiao didn't know that there were so many dramas in her heart. She only knew that her eyes were darting around, and she must be thinking of a way to escape. Did I say something wrong? What does it mean to be a straight man? This is it. Hua took a deep breath and said, Humph, did I say I knew it? In order not to starve, she had better be honest. He Shiu looked at her confident look and smiled, You, go ahead, I'll do it. Don't be too doting in your words. You know how, Hua asked, a little surprised, you can actually cook. She really didn't expect this. There are so many things that you didn't expect. Do you think you know me very well? I am an older child, and now I can actually tease girls. Fortunately, Mei Shui and the others were not here, otherwise they would have been so shocked that they would have sighed, my son has really grown up. Xiao directly picked up the flour and started to act. When he was in his hometown, he often helped his wife make dumplings. Later, after he went to Shenzhen City, his family also made dumplings every year. He had learned to make dumplings for so many years, and he had already become very good at making dumplings. It's just that he didn't plan to tell her. After being busy for a while, Xiao disliked Hua getting in the way. Can you stop blocking me here? If you have washed the dishes, you can go to the living room and watch TV. This woman can't even wash the dishes. It's really a headache. You dislike me. Hua is not stupid. You can tell by looking at him that he is disliked. What do you think? Humph, heartless. After saying that, Hua ran out. This man doesn't have a nice word in his mouth. Xiao was very skillful in his movements. He kneaded the dough in a short time and put it in the basin. He had to wake up for a while before using it. He didn't stop and started kneading the stuffing directly. This was very particular. He didn't understand the particular method, but that's what his wife said. Also, the food here is definitely not as good as the vegetables at home, so he is still a little worried about the taste. Thinking of this, Xiao walked out of the kitchen. Seeing him come out, Hua stood up from the sofa and said, "Has it been wrapped?" with a greedy look on her face. "What are you thinking about? The fillings are not mixed, so what's better?" He was going to get the flavored pills that his mother left for him. No matter what dish he added to them, they would become delicious. Mother was afraid that he would not be used to eating abroad, so she left a lot for him. Haughtily, he left the back of his head to Hua. Hua curled her lips and said, "What's so great about it?" I'll learn from it in the future and I'll make it taste better than you," he said unconvinced. What a pity, she didn't dare to say this in front of He Shiu. After taking out a pill, Xiao found that something was wrong with the person on the sofa, but he couldn't tell what was wrong. Asked kindly, "What's wrong with you? Are you homesick?" She didn't go back either, maybe this was the first time she was separated from her family. He knows what it feels like. Hua Shen was stunned by his blow. She was stunned for a moment after hearing his words, but she was homesick. She really missed her mother. "I miss the New Year's Eve dinner cooked by my mother, and the way my mother gave her red envelopes. I didn't think much about it at first, but now. Wow, I miss my parents." The mood suddenly got worse. Seeing that he was about to drop his beans, He Shiu felt that he was really short of words, so why did he ask her? "Come here and help me, I can't do this alone." He didn't know how to comfort her, so all he could do was to tell her not to think about it. The two people in the kitchen became quiet for a while. He Shiu gave her some simple things to do to divert her attention. Just after she started to do it, He Shiu became very disgusted. "Miss, if you pluck these onions again, they will be gone. The carrots will be gone if you peel them again. If you add more water, we will only have soup tonight." Well, he felt he made a wrong decision. "You should just watch from the sidelines." He Shiu took a deep breath. He was defeated by this girl's innocence. Hua Hua snorted at him twice more, "You are the best. Let me see how delicious you make tonight." Putting down what she was holding, she stood aside and looked at him. He Shiu was speechless. "It tastes better than what you made." He would not tell her that his mother gave him Wei Wan. For a moment, the two of them had different thoughts. Finally the stuffing was mixed, and the noodles were almost ready. Xiao opened the basin and looked at it. He saw that it was still a little worse than his wife's noodles, so he covered it again. Looked at the time, it was still early, but I had to wait. Are you hungry? Xiao asked, looking at the dazed Hua. Hua nodded. I'm hungry. She ate a little sandwich at noon, and she was really hungry at this time. There is no holiday here during the spring festival, so I have been busy at school all morning today. Want to eat noodles? There are no dumplings, but there are many at home. They are all the kind of noodles found in supermarkets, focusing on Longguo noodles. Okay, I want tomato and egg noodles, her favorite. Because what he cooks is delicious. She rolled his eyes at her. If he knows how to eat, well, he likes to eat too. He likes spicy food, but it's still difficult to taste authentic spicy food here, so he doesn't eat it and eats only the egg noodles his mother made for him when he was a child. Don't stop voting. Please vote for recommendations and monthly votes. Thank you to all my dear friends. The Lantern Festival is coming soon. The village girl hereby wishes everyone a happy holiday and good health. End of this chapter. 80s, The Farmer's Wife is the Boss. Author, Village Girl in City. Chapter 511. Chapter 511, Watch the Scene. My own taste is not as good as my mother's, but after adding the flavored pills, the taste is much similar, which is another comfort. But haven't you eaten dumplings? Are you going to stop eating dumplings later? Hua actually wanted to eat the dumplings he made. The noodles are not ready yet, so we have to wait for another hour or so. She started to take action, looking for materials and answering her questions. Of course, if you're not hungry, we can wait for a while. It's still early anyway. It was only about 4 o'clock at this time. No, I'm hungry, I want to eat. As soon as Hua heard the noodles were not ready, she immediately changed her attitude. She wanted to eat, she was hungry. Knowing that she was like this, she didn't even look at her and directly prepared enough for 2 people. When she wasn't paying attention, she threw a pill directly into it. The pill reacted as soon as it was heated, and the fragrance hit your face. Oh my god, it smells so good. Why are the noodles you made so fragrant? This was not the first time she had eaten it, but every time she tasted it, it tasted better every time, and she didn't know why. I won't tell you. She was also childish for a rare moment. Huh, bad guy. A delicious meal was served in the midst of the two's quarrel. Come, let's eat. They were not interested in foreign TV, so they ate directly in the kitchen. After finishing the noodles, Hua felt that they were not enough and wanted to eat more. Maybe he wanted to save some food in his stomach and there was not much noodles left. Chatting her lips, Hua came up with a bold idea. Are you drinking? She looked at He and asked. Wine, I don't know how much of the wine at home was stolen by the 3 brothers. What, you want to have a drink with me? Maybe Xiao didn't notice it himself, but the smile on his face was much more than usual when he was with her. Even when he was with his parents, he had never had so many smiles on his face. Let's fight for wine. Hua looked disgusted. You know, she has been learning to drink from her mother since she was a child, and her drinking capacity is not something to be boasted about. That's right, can you beat me? Hua looked at He up and down and asked. Hey, woman, you'll know if you try it. Maybe because he was in a better mood, he was willing to drink with her for a while, so that she could get to know that there is a world outside the world and there are people outside the world. Just try it, no one is afraid of whom. The 2 of them, shouting excitedly, began to play wine for the first time in their lives. It was the first time for both of them. They didn't know how to fight for wine. Anyway, we started drinking 1 glass at a time. Time slipped by as soon as it didn't flow smoothly. When the light from outside came in, the 2 of them realized that it was dark. I won't drink anymore. I'm going to make dumplings. He put down the cup, but he didn't expect that this woman could really drink. You should give up, huh, I'll make you look down on me. Hua jumped up and shouted when she saw him put down the wine glass. It's a pity that she really overestimated her ability to drink. The wine was bought here and was a bit strong. Unlike the fruit wine her mother usually prepared for her, she would not be intoxicated no matter how much she drank. With a bang, Hua fell on Hishiu and pressed him directly onto the sofa. I'm so dizzy, why are there so many of you? Don't turn around, I'm dizzy. Well, this woman is drunk. Xiao pushed her away gently and put her on the sofa to sit down. Drunk, he was a little confused. How could a person who was still energetic just now faint now? No, you are just drunk. Yeah, it looks like he is really drunk. You rest here for a while, and I'll make dumplings. It's so late, and I'm almost awake for some noodles. How could Hua Hua let him go? Don't make them. What's so fun about making dumplings? Come on, let's have fun. Hishiu wanted to resist, but how could a drunk person be so strong? Plus he didn't want to hurt him, so he let her pull him. I'm telling you, you've never been upstairs, haha, it's really interesting upstairs. Did you know, there is a couple living across the street, and they fight every day? Hishiu felt like he was going crazy. Because he was pulled up to the top floor by her and looked at the room opposite her. Haha, look, they are back. Hua didn't know whether she was really drunk or fake. When she saw the person coming back, she immediately pulled Hishiu and hid her. Don't say anything, I'm telling you, they're going to fight soon, and that man is so fierce. Hishiu thought that the couple opposite would really fight, so he looked at the opposite couple carefully. He was afraid that she would fall, so he half hugged her and hid behind a cabinet. There are a lot of things on the top floor. These cabinets are probably unwanted by others. But you said this was a fight, Hishiu was going crazy. It was obvious that the couple opposite was making out, and she. Have you never studied biology in junior high school? Hishiu gritted his teeth angrily. I've learned it, but what does it have to do with them? Hua didn't know if he was really stupid or pretending to be stupid. Listen, it's obvious that the woman is not happy. He didn't want to argue with her about this, nor did he want to have a real fight with her hiding here and watching others. I don't know how many times I've seen this girl, it's really. Hishiu was afraid of shocking the person opposite, so he could only cover his mouth and take the person away first. Back home, Hishiu looked at the confused man and laughed angrily. You'd better be really drunk, otherwise. Although this is his wife, she really needs to be taken care of. He is already 19 years old and has already understood the affairs between men and women. I just didn't expect this girl to. Naive or stupid? Or is it just pretending? What does she want to happen with herself? Xiao was suspicious. Looking at the sleeping person, Xiao took a blanket to cover her, and then went into the kitchen. No matter what, this dumpling must be wrapped, otherwise he will want to sleep. An hour has passed since I finished this package. At this moment, Hishiu's phone rang. Because when he entered the house, he casually put his mobile phone on the coffee table, very close to the flowers. The confused Hua heard the sound and looked around. After a while, she found the phone, opened it and answered it. Hello. On the other end of the phone, Mei Shui was a bit confused. She looked at He-Ans with a confused face. It's a girl's voice. She had some suspicions in her heart. But she still believed in her son and didn't think he had made such rapid progress in just half a year. Ask who she is. He-Ans understood the meaning in her eyes and said with a smile. Who are you? Where is Hishiu? Mei Shui asked quickly. As soon as he heard the sound, he knew that the girl was still asleep. Maybe he was woken up by his own phone. Hua squinted her eyes and squinted. It's time to take a shower. Do you have anything to do with him? Hua asked confusedly. As soon as these words were said, Hishiu came over and grabbed the phone directly from his hand. Why did you answer my call? He looked speechless. Don't stop voting. Please vote for recommendations and monthly votes. Thank you to all my dear friends. The Lantern Festival is coming soon. The village girl hereby wishes everyone a happy holiday and good health. End of this chapter.